You are now listening to the Brothers and Lovers podcast. Welcome. Come on. Stand up, rise up, rise. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite. Cause we gotta fight.
Shall I stand by my brother's side?
Shall I stand?
If he's wrong, I should tell him why.
Let me tell you.
Enter battle, we should ride.
I'm here.
Let the world feel our battle cry.
Stand up, rise up, rise. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. Get up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. Get up right. And you get right to it, and we unite. Okay. Cause we gotta fight. Stand up, rise up. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. Okay. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. Get up. And you get right to it, and we unite.
Welcome, gentlemen. All right. I would like to welcome everybody. I'm your host this evening. I would like to welcome everybody to Brothers and Lovers podcast.
Episode 8. Well, I asked my panel of brothers to bring their love for their children, our love for our families, and our love for our communities with some passion and sprinkle some facts on that to the uncomfortable conversations. All right, tonight well, hold on. Before we even start, we gotta give a shout out to Damo, brother Damo. He gonna be missing in action for a little bit. He gotta go. He going through stuff, but we salute you, Damo. We out here for you, baby. You know this. Brother Harv is not here either. He working. He being a boss. You all know this. But tonight on my panel, I got my brother Larry.
Yo. Once again, we back on this main stage. It's Larry Harrison, man. I'm doing it for the culture, for my people, for my kids. King Noah, Elijah, I love you. It's for you.
Yes. And I also got my brother Ron.
What's going on, man? It's good to be here tonight, man. It's good to be, you know what? It's good to be here every time, because there's nothing. I've learned that nothing is promised. So it's always a place to get together, just like the word says. Behold how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in you.
Yes. All right, this one, I want to get people really uncomfortable with this one, all right? So we're going to get into this one. This one's basically, I want to talk to my brothers, bring a panel. A female's pregnant. Nowadays, because we're not getting married. If you're married, it's a different topic. And if you're in a committed relationship, it's something totally different. I want to talk about the flings, and you have a kid. And you have a kid. This is what I want to talk about tonight. Because I personally feel men have no say when a woman's pregnant, period. And I'm not trying to say we should tell a woman when to have a baby and when not to have a baby. I'm not saying that. But I want to say men should have some say about the child, period. And we don't have any say. I say this because, and I'm going to give you some statistics. Roughly 25% of Americans grow up without fathers, right? With a father, you are 7% less without a father, you're 7% less likely to finish high school. 13% more likely to have mental health issues. 70% more likely to commit a crime, 43% less likely to graduate college, 94% more likely to have use the government program, and an average of 26% less annually. That's just without having a father in your house. So I think, if anything, men should have. Hold on. Let's start with you, Ron. You're married. I know you had say because you're married, but how do you feel about that? Just knowing that as fathers, we have no say really, and then a father brings so much more just being there with a child.
I definitely agree. The first thing I want to say is, when we look at a pregnancy, I think we have to look at it from the mindset of this is a blessing.
Yeah.
Why would I say that? Because you can have sex all you want, but it takes God to intervene to create a child. This is how I believe it, because there's, when I was out there before I was married, we're concerned about whether or not a pregnancy may develop or not. But once you get married, guess what you got to do? You got to pray and ask God to bless you with a child. I mean, I'm telling you, it just doesn't happen. So once you start with the foundation that this is a blessing from God, then I think it's easier to both parties to realize that, hey, maybe we need to co-parent because God put us together and allowed this thing to happen between us. And because he's in it, then maybe we need to do it the right way. Maybe we need to put myself, herself to the side and focus on this blessing that God has entrusted us with. And if you start from that mindset, I think it gets a lot better to realize that everybody should have some say. And so that's what I want to start, before I even answer your question now, and I don't want to monopolize anything, but I think we just got to start from the mindset of, even if you think it was oh my God, I don't know how this happened, or yeah, this is what I've always wanted. You have to start, I think you still have to start giving credit to the God up above, whoever you believe in, that he or she, if that's how you look at it, was involved in the creation of that. Because if not, man could duplicate it every time and anytime they want. And despite all the technology, despite all the things that we believe that we know about reproduction, we cannot create it at will. It takes God or a higher being to do that.
I do agree with that. What about you, Larry, brother Larry?
Man, so I can use my personal experience. So my 4-year-old son was born in wedlock. His mom and I were married prior to his conception. And my soon-to-be 2-year-old was born out of wedlock. So I can speak to the differential of the two. Like Brother Ron, like you said, like when you're married, even if it's an oops, it's treated as God's will because it's within the marriage. My first son, he was planned. And like Brother Ron said, when God say yes, that's when you get yes. But when God says no, that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a no. And it took us a while. And we were following all of the, the ovulation dates and all of that stuff. And it comes to pass when it comes to pass. You understand? So I say that to say, in that particular situation, locked in completely. Then we move on to my second son. Was a little bit different. My life was different. My mindset was different. What I was going through in the moment was different. So the check-in wasn't immediate. But what was immediate was that I'm a dad. That's the responsibility, regardless of what comes with that. Whether it is and it's not with a woman that I'm not with in the moment we're together. This is what it is. However, there are some things taking place behind the scenes in life that still can offset where you should be. I say all that to say to your point once again, Brother Ron, we don't factor in where God plays in because a child in any situation. And I know that this comment is going to receive some flack, but in any situation, there is purpose. And the reason why I know that I'm going to receive some flack, because there are some who would say, well, what if it was a child out of a molestation or rape or force? Even in that situation, I'm not speaking from a natural standpoint. I'm speaking from a more of a spiritual standpoint. Even then, God is in the midst for that child. That child has purpose. It's never written how we'll get here. It's just when you get here, you got to understand that there's purpose behind it. And with that, I yield.
Oh, okay. All right. I want to make it full circle. I want to also talk about when a guy wants the baby and a female doesn't want the baby, right? But let's go. Let me start with you, brother. Larry. What you feel about that? Like, well, I'm just give this a whole scenario. This is a scenario, right? A girl and a guy, they've been doing their thing for a minute. They both, the girl, she a boss. She do her own thing. You know, she got company, all this, all that. Dude, he does the same thing. They're not together, but they together. You know what I mean? They understood, like, hey, I don't want this, blah, 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 blah. Just one day, they both get really drunk or whatever. You know, cause I'm saying because it's a two thing. And they was like, nobody grabs for the protection. The girl comes up, she's like, hey, you know, weeks down, hey, I'm pregnant. Shit, dude's like, I understand what happened. I feel this is sent, like y'all both said. This is sent from heaven. This is something we was cool for months, and now all of a sudden it's come. All right, I'm ready to deal with it. Girl, like, nah, I don't want it. It's gonna mess up my business. Whoo, she gets rid of it. Dude can't say nothing. What do you feel about that?
Okay, so I'm gonna first answer the question with the question, then I'm gonna answer it.
Go.
So the question that I'm gonna answer it with is, when we're speaking to just the particular topic that you just mentioned, which is having or not having,
mm-hmm.
I would challenge you to think about this after while I'm offering my answer to the question. Is that not the same in terms of having or not having as the woman wanting to have and the man not wanting to have for whatever their reasoning is? Yeah. I'll say that. So now my answer to the question is, it's no different.
No.
It's just as unfair in that particular situation.
Yeah.
Because once again, we can argue that the woman has total say. Yeah. Now, morally, in both situations, I guess you would say it's a double standard.
That's
because it is. It's absolutely a double standard. How do I feel about it? I feel like when you, and this is something that you've spoken to behind the scenes numerous times, so let me put it out. Let me plant the seed and I'm going to let you water it, because you put this out there many times and it's taken me some time, because even in our own personal conversations, to let it manifest and let it register to understand, like, at the end of the day, although no matter how we got to the dance, nobody was complaining about the moves when the music was playing. Mm-hmm. So that took both of us. Mm-hmm. And I know my argument has been, but it's one body doing most of the work after. But it's two of us to have to actually make the music play.
Exactly.
It's unfair, and I do believe that there should be something in play for us both to be able to have a conversation, solely because, even in morals and ethics, the court takes away our voice. Yeah. So I think that is probably why there should be something in play, more or less, because the court doesn't allow us to stand and say anything. The court says, whether you want it or not, you laid, you played, you made, now you pay.
Exactly.
And then on the flip side, it's like, okay, well, dang, if I was a level-headed guy and we could have had a conversation about it, I could have understood your plight. We could have had a conversation as reasonable individuals and say, okay, well, maybe there's a condition with your body that we might not have a choice but to have this baby, just for your sake, for your life.
Oh, yeah.
I might not know you. And I think that's where it gets gray with what you're talking about. Like, we barely even know each other. We met each other at the club, and now you not.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you really gonna have the baby? So with that, I yield.
Brother Ron, what you feeling on that? Same scenario. Back at you.
Same scenario. First of all, this is a deal. This can be a potential deal breaker in relationship.
Exactly.
Off the gate.
A child is, period, a deal breaker. Some people do not want children. You feel what I'm saying? And they tell you up front, yo, if you have it, I don't want it. My whole life, no. Some people like, if you don't want to have it, I can't be with you. This is super. This
is it. This is what you have. First, come to Jesus meeting, and you like, because you already said maybe you don't know the person as well as you should have. Should you have been having sex or not? We're not talking about that because we here.
Yeah.
We hear this, and it's like this is for the first time you really get to see somebody under pressure and see how they react. The guy like a stand-up guy, and it's like, look, whatever we do, we doing it together. I'm with you. Or is he like, yo, I don't want that? Is the female like, listen, I didn't ask for this, but I see it as a blessing from God, and so I got to, I'm not about killing a child. I'm not doing that. Or is she like, look, my career is the most important. This isn't a good time, and I gotta deal with the situation. So this is one of those things that this is like, I think it will either solidify that relationship. It will. It's going to solidify it. Either you're going forward
in the road.
Oh, yeah. So you'll know who that other party is. But I said that, but let me make this point clear, and I'm going to give you an illustration.
Okay.
You and I agree that the house needs to be painted. We're going to go and buy the materials. We're going to pick out the colors together. We're going to do all those things. But at the end of the day, I say, but yo, All City, you got to do the manual labor. You got to paint the house. I'm going to help you buy it. I'll help you take the windows. But the actual painting, which is going to take several days of labor on your part, I can't help you with that. You got to do that. But we in it together because we want this house painted. Should you have a little more say in that situation than not? If you say, brother, I'm not down because I know what it takes to paint a house. I'm not doing that. Now, I'm with you, but, at the end of the day, physically, I got to do the painting. I give you that scenario because that's how I look at a situation when a man and woman come together to have a child. Yes, we should have some say. Yes, our input is important. But at the end of the day, as Brother Larry alluded to, there's one party in that relationship that's got to do a little bit more. Or if a woman was on this panel, she'd be like, no, a hell of a lot more, because it's her body that's going to go through the changes. Hell, women have died in childbirth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Women have died. So it's like, wait a minute, we all in it together, but the sacrifice is a little more than others. And so should she have? I think I gotta say, I think at the end of the day, the tiebreaker has to go to her, or the final say has to go to her, because even though we're emotionally attached, even though we would have a financial commitment, even though we'll have a moral obligation, the physical labor, the changes in her body, the sickness, the potential, women get gestational diabetes, women get all kinds of things that go on with their body through pregnancy that we are not going to have to deal with. And then sometimes after the pregnancy, they have to deal with things that they didn't have to deal with beforehand. So knowing all of that, I think we have to be man enough to recognize that her opinion counts a little more. And so that's where I'm at. I would love to be a part of that decision. But sometimes you just got to yield to the person who has to give a little more. Like I'm gonna give you one more story. The story of like the pig, and I think it was the chicken, who said, "Look, they lived on a farm. They said, look, we're going to let's make breakfast for the farmer." And the pig and the chicken said, "Okay, yeah, we're going to make breakfast." And the chicken said, "I'm going to supply the eggs, but I need you to provide the ham and bacon." And so the pig was like, "Wait a minute, you making a little sacrifice to give up the eggs, but to me, it's total commitment if I got to give up the ham and bacon." And so to me, that's why I'm looking at the woman. It's we make it a sacrifice with like that chicken. We give a little bit, we give a little eggs. But for the woman, it's total sacrifice. She's killing a part of us for the next 9 months. She's changing what she got to eat. If she was a smoker, she giving that up. If she liked to drink, she giving that up. If she, and then sometimes women aren't doing things like even drinking caffeine. She drinks coffee and soda, everything that, I'm talking about real women. I ain't talking about the girl who had babies all the time and it ain't no big deal. I'm talking about the woman who's committed to trying to bring this child in the right way, who's changing her lifestyle, who's doing everything that the doctor is recommending. It's a total commitment with her. And so if she's not ready to do that, your opinion counts, but she's going to have to be the definitive voice in that to that question.
No, and I'm not taking.
Yo, City. If I could just jump in one time, you're wrong. You peaked something real quick, and it just made me think, yo, City. You know what? I think we have the answer to your question.
Go on.
Because we do have say. Because think about it. To your point, I'm just thinking about Ron. Everything you just said just hit so hard. Like they do 90% of the work, but our 10% is most important because there is no baby without us. So definitively, who you choose and when you choose is your say.
Well, okay,
hear me out. When you choose and who you choose is our say. Because if I'm in the club and I know I just met Keisha and I know I don't want no kids and I'm lit, I probably should pass on Keisha. I can't go with the idea that I'm a little inebriated. Oh, I'm hanging with the fellas. I'm just trying to get my rocks off. Rocks off lead the baby cries. And that's our say.
So okay.
I'm just thinking.
And I got you.
You shaking up the ivories. You shaking up.
All right, and let me take that.
That is in essence where we have say because they do so much after the deposit. All the banking is done on their end. After the deposit, we make the deposit. They do all the banking. They do the accounting. They do where the money moves, checking and savings, and they pay all the bills. In that moment where their body changes, their mental changes, everything changes. Their life is on the line because sometimes think about this. Forget. Let's just remove having the baby. What happens when they lose the baby after carrying it? That's even worse. What about after the baby and then postpartum? That's worse. So now our say comes into play where not only do I not want to change, and heavy is the head, because God, now if we go spiritual, God made us man and he made us head. So at being the head, it is our duty to factor in all of these things because everything we do, and I'm talking to you right now, brother to brother, not even as the I'm talking to you, like I'm talking to y'all from my experience, the life I'm living right now. Everything we do falls back on the shoulders of being a man because when you make the decision, it goes back to you didn't think about that, you didn't factor this in. It's on us. That's the way it was designed. They bear the child, but without us, there is no child. The only one to have that conception bore Jesus. And God made that specific for a reason. So I say all of that to say, just to play devil's advocate, to give us something else to another avenue to take. We do have say in that regard. It is the selflessness in the presence of selfishness that gives us. And that with that, I yield.
All right. No, okay, thank you. This brings my next point. What about, all right, just like you said, we have say, we know what happened in the club. We were talking, like we said, Keisha, we knew, boom, boom, boom. Then Keisha come to us, hey, I'm pregnant. You're like, all right, I'll pay for the abortion. Go with you. I'm willing to do what we got to do to get rid of it because we both know it was a mistake. We both know we both know we didn't want this. Nah, fuck out of here. I don't want to, my language, but I don't want to bring in the wrong topic. But just say, she's not with it. She still want to have it. We still got to pay for it, though. We still got a mistake that we made and we tried to correct. We still got 18 years to, is that right?
Okay, hold on. Let me touch that before brother Ron.
Go. Is that right? Is that right?
No, it's not. But hold on. Now this is what's on trial. What's on trial now is what brother Ron was speaking to. What's on trial now is the character of the man. What's on trial now is the very essence of the man that you say you are. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by that is this. I can look at it from a natural standpoint, which is going to be first and foremost A through Z and probably double A through double Z all over again. As to how did I end up in this situation? Now I got a kid with a woman. I don't know her. But you would hope, and I know based upon the stats and based upon what we know in life, it doesn't always turn out this way.
You can't.
It doesn't always turn out to where the mistake turns into a bosom of flowers and bed of roses. I get it. But we control the narrative, though.
How?
And what I'm going to tell you how.
Okay.
Because for me, as a parent, understanding both of my situations, there is purpose in both.
But okay,
there is. Now hold on. Now
hold on. Let's because you brought you up. We can't bring you. Why? Because how you move. Understand? We're talking about in general.
No. Listen.
About in general. No.
But I'm speaking from both sides of the spectrum.
In life, stuff will happen, but it will work out in your favor. We all know this.
Hold on, but moving in light and moving in a space like from what you deem that my thought process is, this is worked. This ain't like
But I'm saying if you how you walk, how we all walk, I believe all of us walk, we can say with faith. We walk in faith. When you walk in faith, stuff happens, but stuff doesn't hit you as hard because you have it's stuff will automatically help you out because you.
What if it would have hit me?
We're talking about mostly people.
What if it would have hit me at a place? But what if I would have been? What if I would have been hit in a space and time in life where my faith was at its lowest, almost absent? Then my faith walk prior to that means nothing.
But
what we're talking about, because every part of life, but life is peaks and valleys. So what if I was in my peak? Then I'm no different from that guy. I could be acting just like him.
You're right. But if you let your low point hit you, then people go down. They don't continue going up. You feel what I'm saying? Like let's say majority of the people, they when they hit low, they don't go back up. They don't know how to get up. As a people, we don't. A lot of us don't know how to get back up. And that's what I'm trying to say. And I understand because we're supposed to take this personal, and that's how it's supposed to be. But most of us don't know how to get back up, and those are the people I'm trying to talk to.
Listen.
Go.
Listen.
OG, go.
Let's stop all the BS, okay? Because Larry said, look, I don't know this girl. Guess what? Flip the coin. She don't know you.
Yeah.
So this is what I know about people in general. People under the best intentions will tell you what they're going to do. But life has a way of happening and directing what they said they were going to do or not going to do, and the opposite happens. And they expect you to understand. Let's think about it. We started this podcast. There was a person that committed. Then he decommitted. You know what I mean? Under the best of circumstances, he said, I'm with you. And I'm not talking about Brother Damo. I'm talking about somebody before we even hit film.
Yeah.
I'm with you. This is what I want to do. This is great. I'm with you. And he was. Until life happened and he no longer was with us. So that's what has to go through a woman's mind. Like, this guy, when he's at his peak, y'all talking about peaks and valleys. If he's at his peak and he's doing everything that he's supposed to do, that's great. When he's at his valley, then life has happened. And the thing that he said he was going to do, he's no longer able to do it. Now she's by herself. So I'm saying even the best of us have life situations that come up, and then we become the person in our valley experience that we may not give what we thought we would be able to give. And so that woman has to take into consideration that even if she knows us, we're talking about a situation where she didn't know us, but even if she knows us, we may not be there. But guess what? That child is still going to be there. And so she has to, so if she was in that situation where she said, you know what, I ain't really ready to be a mother right now. And I'm sure not ready to be a mother to Off City's child. But Off City said, I'm super dad. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. I got it. You carry my seed. I'm there for you. She says, you know what? He's at his peak. I'm with it. But then Off City has an opportunity to grow his company. And guess what? He got to take his company somewhere else. Sweetheart, listen, I got to roll. I'm going to send you more money, but I'm getting ready to make enough money for all of us. I'm getting ready to do this. Life has happened, And what he said he would not do, he finds himself doing. He convinces himself it's for the good of the family. Because maybe in the way we think financially, if finances are there, then other things will come into place the way they need to. So my point is, I'm taking a lot of time, but I'm just saying, look, man, we are a people that when we commit to doing something, sometimes the enemy has a way of putting things in your past that prevent you from doing the very thing that you promised that you would do, or going against the thing that you said you would never do. So,
and even that has purpose.
Yeah, and even that. But what I'm saying is, when that woman elects to have that child, it's kind of like, for better for worse, I gotta be there. Now, we're talking about real women. There's some women who don't live by that code either. And that's why so many kids being raised by other people. Not by dad necessarily. It's grandmas, it's foster care, there's other people.
There's so many
talking about.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Think about if the men, not saying if the man has some say, we have to hold him accountable to that. Hey, your child shouldn't be at grandma's house.
What's accountable?
Hold on. I would say this. Thank God for being a God that He is. You know why? Because we know a whole lot of people that got kids that we look at them and say they shouldn't be parents. And then there's always a big mama or a big papa. There's somebody there. So sometimes what we believe is our burden is somebody else's blessing. It's just hard from a natural standpoint to fathom that, because at the end of the day, we are paying. But I challenge anybody to think about this, and I'm speaking from a parent who's seen as a man from both ends, who's got a plethora of feelings in a situation with two kids with two different mothers. You imagine it's difficult. It's really it pulls on every fiber of you, because you're not always making the right decision and you believe you are. You're not always doing what you deem. Some of your stuff is more or less selfishly motivated because you're trying to save face. You want to make everybody happy, when in all actuality, it's about the kids. And even then, somebody might end up taking a short-term L for a long-term W, and you don't even know the half. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm saying is that what I'm thinking is, for a monetary loss, her whole life gonna change. Everything about it. Even if she don't keep the baby, we get to move on because nothing has taken place. And she has to go be scraped, lay on that table, let someone probe her. Just the idea of walking into a doctor's office and saying, to get rid of it. The judgment that she might feel, that's premeditated, already self-inflicted, self-imposed, stamped on her brain, that might not even be taking place, because this doctor might feel like, I'm doing the world a service, and he or she might do it with a smile, like, girl, don't you worry about it. Everything gonna be all right. Not even still feeling like I'm being judged. He's just saying that to make me feel good. She's just saying that to make me feel good. She must think I'm scum of the earth because I'm getting rid of it. The people outside with the posters, you a baby killer, this, that, and the other, they not doing that to the man. They doing that to the woman. The man don't get no part of that. He don't get that feel. He don't have to feel none of that. So it's not only just.
But he gets to, hold on. He gets to, let's say she doesn't, right? Let's say she keeps it, and he doesn't pay child support. He's get a deadbeat. And let's say he misses the payment. He called the deadbeat.
You know what a man is a deadbeat for? I'm gonna tell you something.
No,
Go.
I'm
gonna keep in my opinion.
Okay.
You worse for not being present than you are for not financially kicking in, because not everybody got it. At that point, I can look at the woman and say, man, you had a baby with a dude. He was here for the 2 5s. Y'all knew y'all was here for the happy hour. You ain't never been to a 5-course meal with this man. So just being funny, but
and I understand.
What I'm saying is this: when you understand what we're actually committing to when we lay down, the possibilities are endless. So in that regard, for you to hop up and say, oh, it's you? You are? Really? What we gonna do? And then when she like, well, I'm keeping it. And you like, what? Keisha, I don't even know you. I just met you like 2 weeks ago. What we talking about? Now you pregnant? Now we're gonna have to do something different because I ain't having it. I got the bread, I'll come with you. You need a hug? I'll ride you there, get you home. I'll buy you some soup, get you some tea or something if you need it. And then she like, wait, what? Because don't forget, this is what we left out. And this is what Brother Ron, and I'm going to yield after this point. This is what Brother Ron, what you was talking to. That night, drunk or sober, chocolate wasted or white girl wasted. However you lay it down, the stuff that you were saying that night had her feeling like she had hit the $150 million jackpot. You were clean, you were a gentleman, you were neat, and most of all, you were calculated. You were calculated, and you achieved. You shoot, you scored, because she ended up right where you wanted her to end up, and you got exactly what you wanted out the deal. So don't believe that it takes 5 years for you to convince somebody of what you want them to know about you. It takes 10 minutes.
No, I agree. I do.
Representative is quick. People knock on your door, get you to buy everything they got in their bag if they good at it. And with that, I yield.
Man, I got to go back to that comment.
Go ahead.
I got to go back. You said child support, and that's like one of those things that's my pet peeve. Child support. I'm like Allen Iverson. Remember on the practice rank, we talking about practice. We talking about child support. Now, child support. I mean, unless you're one of those guys who makes a whole lot of money. When I say I'm talking about a whole lot of money, and this woman is asking you for $30,000, $40,000 a month. And you know what I mean? Those guys that we read about, you know, and it's like, you know, this superstar athlete, entertainer, and the woman is like, yeah, you know, I need this, the baby needs this, and the $25,000 that he pays is not enough. It ain't enough for the 2-year-old. I'm not talking about that because that's ridiculous. Yeah. But the average dude, child support, if all you paying is child support, kill yourself twice.
Some people have though.
Twice.
Some people have. Hold on. Some people have been late on child. There's stories. Some guys have been late on child support and just wanted to see their child, and and the woman would not let them see them.
If all you paying is child support, kill yourself twice. Why do I say that? What is child support? Who can that baby survive on the $200 that you paid per month? No, hell no. The child cannot survive. Children need things around the clock. Now, if you're paying child support and you like some brothers on this podcast that get their child half the week, you know, that's different because you are really contributing. That's a 50-50 partnership. But if you get your kid on you know, every couple of weekends or whatever, and the rest of the time the mother's taking care of that child, and you paying $150, $200 a month, that is not enough. And then the guy who's complaining about that, he's also complaining, oh, why my son's hair getting cut? I gave you the $200. Well, with that $200, she was supposed to buy clothes. She was got to buy food. She had to pay for shelter for your child. Had to pay for everything. So if it's a true partnership and you're taking care of your children, I'm not talking to that. Because that brother, you know, to me, should never even be on this thing called child support because he is already supporting his child. I'm talking about that guy that all he does is pay that state-mandated minimum. That's it. You know, and wants to see his child. Because the guy who's complaining about that, he wants his kid to have on the Jordans. He wants his kid to have on the nice clothes. He wants his kid to have a fresh cut every time he sees him. And it's like, you know, come on, man. That, you know, we shouldn't even complain about child support. But I also understand that there are some people who don't do the right thing with the support that is given. No man wants to pay money out of his check or have it withdrawn or do anything. And you find out that the mother put it down on her application for a new car that she gets X amount of dollars a month in child support. It's like, wait a minute, that money isn't for your new car. That money isn't to get your nails done. That money, now, you know, I know there's some women who probably be like, no, but I did this. To me, do that on your own. This money is almost like should be held in trust, and every dime of it should go to benefit that child. Now, part of that may have to pay for the lights, yes, because that child is in that house. Some of that has to go towards the rent, yes, but every dime of it should be used for the child, you know. And so with that, that's what I'm saying. Listen, if all we're talking about is child support, we got to do better because it is not enough. Except for now, if you get hit over the head real strong, and I know there's some guys that I'm not talking to you. God bless you, but I'm talking about that guy who's got 3 kids and his child support obligation is $150 a month or $200 a month. That ain't getting it. With that, I yield.
Okay, I agree with you. Those dudes. Hey, what about the dudes that are trying and they behind on child support and the woman won't?
Trying ain't worth a damn to me.
But it is though. It's a lot of. Nah, you still have to
eat. Are you trying to eat or are you eating?
But that's the point. Some people can't eat.
What do you mean when you say trying? I would prefer a better.
All right. I'm saying. Okay. I'm saying he's like probably 2 payments behind.
Okay, so now
my meals behind? Are you 2 meals
so
behind?
Hold on. My question is so let's talk. Let's realistically, things happen. Okay, cool. My thing is this: if, to your point, brother Ron, if all you do is child support, then I'm not hearing being behind. If that's all
you do, yeah.
Now, if you are,
I'm talking about a guy who working.
If you are no. What I mean, if you are a present, or you are in the presently in the life of the child, you are a part of that child's life. You pour in. You don't just pay child support, but you pay into that child's existence. And then you miss a payment, it's almost guaranteed. And I don't want to say it's not 100%, but it's very close, damn near 100%, that you and that mother have somewhat of an understanding that you're not about to get your balls cracked on the table for payment missed. If she know, like, he a good dad, he just got a hard situation. Now, if you just a trash can dad and you not involved in that child's life, not trying to be there, then whatever you get from missing that payment, you getting that. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because just as many, and I know who you speaking for, and I get it, because there are guys who are out there who are undeserving of that ride. But I'm speaking for the guys who deserve to be on child support because they make it hard for a dude who take care of their kids. And when they get in a situation, the woman feel obligated. He a great dude, or we got to get divorced. It's written into the decree to pay child support after the divorce, even though you done took care of the kid. The court don't have no mercy. She can go there and say, Judge, I don't want no child support. And the judge, I'm sorry, it's nothing we can do. This is the way it is. You got women who get convinced they got a good man, and they saying, just in case things go wrong, I got to put you on child support. It's a dude living with his baby mama right now on child support, and they good. But it's for that rainy day. Because there's always somebody who's beat the system, found a way to quit their job and not have to pay. Well, if I don't have no job, then you can't get none from me. So I'm just gonna go and live off the books and do this, that, and the third. So it's both ways. But to your point, City, because I don't want this to sound like I have no into what you say, because that's not the truth. I completely understand your plight, where there are circumstances and situations that fit that ideal situation for the man who's like, this is just not a good setup. And I get it. The idea of having to spend money in a situation. But if you are fortunate, let's just say you a businessman, you meet a chick, you on happy hour, you suit and tied up, hard bottoms up, you walk into a spot, you meet you a chick, she got a brief, she look like ideal. However the situation is, whether you meet her at the 40-40 or you meet her at the Ritz-Carlton Club, it don't even matter. You met her there, y'all both in that moment have a decision. What transpires after that decision, unfortunately, we know. It don't matter how it play out. We know that once you make that deposit, what the bank do with your money, you no longer have any say. Now, I'm going to keep it funky. Now that I mentioned the bank and deposits, let's talk to that. Because if I go put my $100 in the bank right now, and the bank somehow has a glitch, the bank can report to me that my $100 never went in. And I got to go wait and dispute it. And if I don't come up with enough proof, that $100 is good as gone. It's no different than when you make a deposit with this woman and you tell her, well, I'm going to be there, have the baby, because this dude's doing that too. Oh, I'm going to be there, have the baby.
Yes.
And as soon as she get through her first trimester acting crazy, he like, yo, I'm off this. You good.
I do.
Hey, hold on. I love your bank scenario, but let's adjust a little bit.
No.
Let's not call it a bank. Let's not call it a deposit in a bank because there are some assurances. Let's call it deposited on the stock market.
Okay.
And investing. Because, you might bought you some cryptocurrency and ended up, whoo, is this gone? Or you might have bought something from Warren Buffett.
You be reaching for it.
That you put in a very little bit and you made it. You put in 500 and now it's worth 550,000. You know what I'm saying? Or you bought 10 million shares of the latest crypto and it's worth negative $200. It's from negative $200. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. You are not in a bank because you usually get a decent return in banks. But we really invested on the open market. And when you deposit,
you don't know what you get.
You're like, Lord, I'm hoping this is panning out. But yo, you really don't know. And it's just like the stock market. Some days it's looking real. You're like, yo,
I'm about to get.
Yo, please let me just put out this disclaimer to whomever is out there in the world and listen, following us on any stream that you listen. I know, please don't take offense to our laughing. We're not making light of the situation. We are not making a joke out of it. We are just trying to add some extra seasoning to the topic because we understand the severity of it. It's very touching for many. Everybody has gone through or known someone who's gone through a situation involving pregnancies and single parented homes. We all are very, 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 very in tune, and we are sincere to the topic. We are not making light of it at all, but just like anything in life, some laughter does heal the heart. It does allow a simpler place to exist for these tough topics. I just want to get that out.
The woman can say she's like buying a used car. When she's getting with us, it looked good on the lot. You know what I'm saying? It looked real good. The tires. We was spitting, like you said, you were spitting game. She checking the tires. Wow, this is real nice. It looked like, and she, she agrees to buy it. She gets off the lot.
Lemon.
Right. It might be a lemon. You're like, man, the car won't even start no more. Or she might get 100,000 miles out of it and be like, yo, this is good. So she's taking a risk too. You know what I'm saying? She's taking a risk. So, because I know a woman be like, yo, y'all don't act like y'all always, coming through. You like, yo, because you talking about, yo, I got laid off. Or, I had a situation at my job. That's that slow to crank kind of dude. He's starting up. Like,
the battery off? I mean, the belt off? The time belt off?
All you hear is a whining noise. Yeah. Ain't nothing turn it over. You know what I'm saying?
If I could throw this out there, and I probably shouldn't. I don't know if this is against the rules of podcasting, but I'm gonna say in the near future, you'll hear us talk to what I deem is really behind what we're speaking to, and that's, can we be treated like human beings too, meaning men?
Yes.
Can we be treated with a bit of sincerity as well? Because I understand that we're looked upon to always, like, heavy is the head. I get it. We've been ordained to be the head, but we also were created within His likeness with the same parts. We got a heart that beat red blood, that feels. We got a mind that requires some food too. So they're the same variables that a woman requires to exist in this world. We also require. We've just been chosen to carry a lot on our shoulders. I'm not asking for us to be pampered, babied, or coddled. Just a bit of sincerity in certain circumstances in life where we're not asked to cry, but more or less carry the load. And this is one of those circumstances where a lot of times this topic is taken out of context, where we're asking for you to just go lay on a table and get rid of it. But in all actuality, it is our responsibility to think about the future that comes after. If you don't want a man who's broken, and a lot of people are broken, so you factor in, you don't want to find out later that the father of your child is a broken man who can offer you nothing. No. Or the mother of your child is a broken woman who can offer your child nothing. Because that selflessness comes into play when a child enters the world, when a child comes about. Selfish goes out the window. It can no longer, and it will no longer be about you. And no matter what you do, life has a funny way of bringing it back full circle. When you got kids that you don't take care of, or you just push to the wind, God's got a way of revealing life to you in a certain way, to where you will revisit that moment in time in some way, whether your generation or the next or someone else close to you, you will feel it. And I say that to say it is important. It's important to everyone, and I'll yield after this point. I just want everybody to hear, like, your children are so important. They are the next. We were the next to someone else's last.
Yes.
Brother Ron, you were the next to the last before you. You know, City, we were the next to the last before us, and our children are going to be the next after us. And, you know, we don't spend enough time talking about where we are. And I'm segueing, but we don't spend enough time talking about where we are mentally, where we are emotionally, where we are physically, and what our capacities are when it comes to the circumstances we put ourselves in and decisions we make. And with that, I pray that everybody, if you have something to say, if anything we said touched you at any moment, I know we didn't check in throughout the podcast, but we're checking in now. If anything that touched you, leave a note, leave a comment, get back to one of us. If anybody knows any of us personally, send a message. We'll be happy to put it out there, hit the YouTube, all that. Brothers, with that, I yield.
Yes. All right. We got a little minutes left. All right. Before, let me just go on. I don't want anybody to think this was like we all said this. We're not telling a woman what to do. We're not. We just want to have some say in what's happening, because it's the life. The life is most important of anything, and the life, like I always say, one thing I say, a child needs both a mother and a father. We need to sit, we need to conversate. If we're gonna have relations, let's have relations. You know what I mean? Like, let's go the whole mile. Let's have a conversation before we have these relations, so we can understand what we're getting into. Just in case something does happen, and we know where we're going. At least have a plan. Let's say that we can have a plan if something does happen or something does come out of it wrong or whatever. With that, I say, let's go around. Let's see what you said. So, brother Ron, how you feeling? Let's close this out. What you feeling about this?
You know, I think, we started off with asking, should we have some say? I think it benefits everybody, the man and the woman, if everybody gets to put out there at the beginning how they feel. For one thing, it lets us know what that other person's head is, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. If I'm talking from a woman's perspective, it's important that she knows where this guy, where he is, because she can hold him to that. Yeah. I think she should be able to hold him to that. If he said, you know what, regardless of the circumstances, I'm a father to all my kids, to every one of them. So, this will be no different. So, I'm with you. I'm behind you. She can hold him to that. She can bring that back to his memory. When things aren't going the way that they should be going, she can say, listen, I talked to you at the beginning and you agreed to do X, Y, and Z, or you agreed to be a part of this child's life. And now I'm expecting you to do that, because as you just said, it's so important to have both the father and the mother involved in raising the child, because even then it's still a difficult task. Yeah. But it's a damn sure whole hell of a lot harder when it's just one. So that's why I think it's definitely better to get both sides' perspective. Getting the woman's perspective is important, because then you know where she's coming from. You get to know what she expects. You get to know what she desires in you as a father. And, that's going to be important, because then when you have communication and conversation, then it can lead to eliminating confusion. Everybody's at least on the same page. I'm not saying it's going to prevent all the situations from arising, but at least then there's an understanding. And with that, I say, God ordained this thing called parenthood, and he meant for us to do it together. And so it certainly works out a lot better when a father and a mother are co-parenting. With that, I yield.
Yes, I totally agree. What about you, brother Larry? What you feeling?
Man, okay, so that's a hard comment. Brother Ron is so eloquent and elegant in the way he speaks, man. He speaks so eloquently that he targets so many different things in a short span of time. So I'm gonna just keep this quick. Being a parent is probably the greatest, most difficult gift God is ever gonna bestow upon us. It's the greatest gift, but it is by far the most difficult gift because he bestows it upon us. And it's not something, even in the midst of when we ask for, we really don't fully understand what we're asking for. We think we do, but it does something to you when you actually get into the game where you think dribbling is just dribbling and it's not. Taking a shot is not taking a shot. You know what I'm saying? It's like stepping onto a park basketball court and then stepping into the pros. It's a different speed. Everything is different, and you got to be sharper. So I say that to say, having a say, if I could piggyback off what you said, Brother Ron, is important not only for the two, not only for the man and the woman, but for the child that can potentially be created, for the first time grandmother, for the first time grandfather, for the first time auntie, for the first time uncle, for the friends. It affects everyone because if I'm affected, the people who love me in that situation are going to be affected. If she's affected, everything she goes through, it's a domino effect. And we believe we have to get away from the ideology that what we do only affects us, because it's not true. What we do affects a multitude of people. And I say that, and I'll yield after this point to what you say all the time. You're trying to raise a nation. Well, if the fastest way to tear a nation down is not consider the nation when you make decisions. If you're not considering the nation, then you can't build a nation. You will tear it down before you have a stable foundation. And I think that's the point that you've been trying to make, is how do we create a suitable, strong foundation? And the answer that I have is think more. Stop. If most of the babies that we create and that don't have parents or fatherless are being made from the person we made in a club, then we probably need to stay out the club. Make a decision. Make a decision. Yeah. Choose life over your nut, because your nut causes life.
Yes.
You understand? if your nut causes life and all you thinking about is the nut and not the life that it could actually bring, then we thinking backwards, man. We moving wrong.
Yeah.
We moving wrong. Like brother Ron said, if you knew that the car you bought that was beautiful on the outside was going to turn into a lemon when you pull it off the lot, you would go buy the hoopty. You go buy the hoopty that you knew would run for 100,000 miles because you wouldn't care. Because as long as you knew it would run. Because you know why? Because think about the tortoise and the hare. The hare going crazy and the tortoise like, I'm going to just stay the course because as long as I run at this pace, when he get tired, I'll meet him there. All I want to do is finish the race. I don't care really about winning. I want to stay in the race. And if I win, bonus. But if I don't have enough to finish, that's the ultimate failure. Yes. And that's where we're failing. Yeah. You going to the club, me and Keisha? Don't ask Keisha what her credit score is. Ask Keisha what's her life plan.
Yes.
And then whatever ask Sean what's his life plan. But whatever they give you in that moment, make sure you ask them the next day when they're sober and see if you get the same answer.
Same answer. Yes.
And don't be laying next to them when you ask them either. Make sure you're not laying with them when you ask them, because by then it could be too late. And with that, I yield.
Yes. Oh, okay. Before we get out of here, I want to give some shout outs. Give that shout outs to Life of Phoenix. Life of Phoenix. The Tough Stuff Productions.
Oh, that's a day when the sun.
And Father's View. There we go. PM. Wow. Damn, how I'm getting this on? PM Prosperity LLC. Whoa. And Star City Cleaner LLC. All right. Like we said, just try to think about who you dealing with before you deal with them, while you're dealing with them or whatever. Just think about the future.
Yo, shout out to Crosby Law Firm. Let's put that out there. Yes. You heard?
Yes. I keep forgetting right there. That's on me. What else? That's it. Everybody just like I like to say, walk in love and live in your blessings. It's me and my brothers. We're gonna be out on this one. Later.
What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. Okay. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite.